Certainly a strange but exciting view of Neyland Stadium as opens up the 2020 season at home against the Missouri Tigers, who lost a tough one to Alabama back in Columbia just a week ago. And welcome to SEC Network Football, presented by Allstate, as the Missouri Tigers looking for their first win, and Tennessee ranked 21st, trying to continue with their winning streak that has reached 7 games. Dave Neal alongside former SEC championship quarterback DJ Shockley. Dawn Davenport will join us in a matter of moments. She is down on the field today. But Shock, obviously Tennessee goes on the road, squeaks past South Carolina, got exactly what they wanted, and that was a win. And they had to rely on their quarterback, Jarrett Guarantano, to get that done.
Yeah, and that's been kind of the story of the past few years, as JG is what they call him in Knoxville, was a consistent player for her last week. Did a great job of distributing the football, but the number one thing was he took care of the football, and he has been a big part of those last 7 wins that they've had. And this guy has been a proven leader for a very long time, poised, confident, and has the ability to take this team to the next level. You talk about guys who have to do it around him: Ty Chandler, Eric Gray, Josh Palmer, all 3 very explosive players who they depend on a lot for Tennessee to be very good on offense, and those guys have to be that today.
Well, Missouri's got some weapons of their own on offense, and obviously in the backfield, they've got 2 of the best in the conference in Tyler Beatty and Larry Roundtree. What do you like about these guys?
Oh, man, Dave, I call these guys thunder and lightning. One is a bulldozer, one is a kind of a slasher guy who can make you miss in space, and you see Roundtree has the speed to go the distance as well. But a lot of this offense depends on these 2 guys because of the quarterback situation, but they have been a steady dose of what Missouri can do all year long, and these 2 quarterbacks who will play in this ball game. Shawn Robinson, expect him to get more of the play call in this ball game, but he is a dual threat guy, can make you miss and do a lot of things on this offense.
We'll see both those guys today, according to Coach Eli Drinkwitz. But Missouri wins the toss today, so they defer. Tennessee will get the football first, so we'll wait before we see Shawn Robertson or Connor Bazelak. But we will see Jarrett Guarantano. And let's go down to Dawn on the sidelines.
Well, Dave, head coach Eli Drinkwitz told me that of their 25 practices, he only had 11 where he had all of his offensive playmakers healthy. There was a point where 6 straight practices, he had a different starting left guard. Because of that, he doesn't have a great feel for his quarterbacks. He said because of that, he's still looking to find some chemistry on offense, and that's why you will see both quarterbacks. He liked what they both did last week, but neither one has separated themselves yet. So Shawn Robinson gets the first chance to do that today. Guys, he will get the starts.
Well, Eli Drinkwitz, Dawn, told us that he felt pretty good about the way things played out in week 1. I guess both these coaches in the same situation, Jeremy Pruitt and Eli Drinkwitz, as they are both coaches trying to fight through the COVID. All the implications surrounding all that and allowing these guys to get on the football field. I know that Tennessee just was glad to get out there after having so many guys miss most of their preseason practice. So Tennessee will get the football first, and that'll be a touchback out to the 25-yard line. So here comes Jarrett Guarantano, the 5th-year senior, who said last week it was probably the most comfortable he has ever been as the signal caller at Tennessee. A lot of that goes to being with his offensive coordinator for the 2nd consecutive year, something that has not happened to him his entire career.
Yeah, I love when he talked about that. He talked about pre-snap, his mind not racing. He understands what's going on. He's comfortable in the ball game, and that only bodes well for his Tennessee offense.
So from the 25, whistles will stop the play. Our referee today, Steve Marlowe. So Tennessee will back him up 5 yards. Well, some players to keep an eye on today, Shock. There are some guys that are difference makers on that Tennessee offensive side of the football.
Yeah, run the ball behind Trey Smith is a big part of it. Eric Gray, big-time player for him as well. And all these guys will contribute for this Tennessee offense, but up front is where it starts.
Guarantano going up top early on. Almost a one-handed catch down that near sideline, but incomplete. But some of those guys, you mentioned Trey Smith, of course, just an offensive line loaded with 5-star recruits, 4 of them on that offensive front. But Eric Gray came on strong last year. Last couple of games was just a dynamic force. And Ty Chandler and Josh Palmer also guys that are going to see a lot of the football today.
Yeah, Missouri thought they had a good 1-2 punch. Tennessee has a good 1-2 punch as well, as usually Tennessee comes out in 5 wide.
Garantano underneath, pass is caught. They get it back to the original line of scrimmage, as that one's caught by Ty Chandler. And Enos Rakestraw, the true freshman, making the play for the Tigers. Now for Missouri, some of these guys on the defensive side of the ball. Nick Bolton, you better watch him. 32 is going to be a force.
Yeah, we probably call his name once or twice a day. He is a downhill thumper and plays sideline to sideline, never comes off the field. He is the middle of that defense that gets them going, play in and play out.
3rd down and 10 now for Tennessee. Boy, they struggled on 3rd downs. I think anybody that follows the Vols knows that was an issue last week, trying to convert here. Pass is caught, and let's see where they spot it. If it's out over the 35, that'll be a 1st down. And they will spot it, it appears, around the 36-yard line.
Just a nice job here. Watch JT drift just a little bit to his left and get that football out. Nice composed throw, and first 3 downs, Missouri goes man coverage and forces Tennessee to win 1-1. And what a good job there.
They actually moved that spot back shot to just shy of the 35, so they had to go for it on 4th and 1, and that will move the chain. So still can't be successful on 3rd down, but heck, you always got 4.
Yeah, no doubt, and they use the tempo to their advantage right there.
Going fast again. That handoff to Ty Chandler. Ty Chandler last week, 13 carries, 86 yards. Had a team high 655 yards on the ground last year.
One thing to note, you see this tempo, but that last run play went over that right side. Cade Mays getting started right tackle, number 68.
Garantano underneath. Out to the 48-yard line goes Chandler again. So fresh set of downs now for the Volunteers.
Well, JG doing exactly what he talked to us about in a meeting yesterday. He talked about Missouri drops a lot into coverage. I will have to check the football down a lot in that ball game, and he did that there to move the chains.
Eric Gray gets the carry. He's across midfield. Eric Gray, such a dynamic couple of games down the stretch. Gator Bowl MVP a year ago. Garantano tripped up right around midfield, and that'll bring up a 3rd down.
Nothing's really good down the field, but they do a good job of, they're not able to get to the quarterback. Watch him retrace his steps right there. It's Trajan Jeffcoat. He's a guy that kind of stepped on last week and played pretty well for him last week. Had a sack last week in the game versus Alabama.
Tennessee 1 of 12 on 3rd downs last week. Misfired on their first one this afternoon, but converted on 4th and short. Going up top on the far side. Pass is caught. That is Jalen Hyatt, the true freshman, making a great catch on the far sideline.
Oh, you love it. You get man coverage, you got an inside fade, and Jalen Hyatt, a freshman who has the speed to burn. JG talked about he is a burner, low 4.3 speed, but he beats his man one-on-one on that inside fade. And Coach Jim Chaney said Jared throws the deep ball the best as anybody he's seen.
Garantano again looking toward the end zone. That one looking for Josh Palmer, and that's incomplete. Crowd wanted a flag. Of course, around 23,000 on hand inside of Neyland Stadium today.
Pretty impressive drive so far. We talked about the struggles that Tennessee had last week on 3rd down, going 1 for 12. Converting that crucial 3rd and 7 was huge.
2nd down and 10. They'll hand it off to Gray. He cuts it inside the 10 down to the 8-yard line.
One thing to point out, Dave, about this offensive line from Tennessee, Jerry Pruitt said when he got in his first year, he only had one guy over 300 pounds. Now the entire offensive line is over 300 pounds, and they love to use these guys to just maul and mush people all around the field.
Jim Chaney going rather quickly on this opening drive. Not wasting much time as that one is caught by Brandon Johnson, but he's a yard shy. So now you're looking at another 4th down opportunity here. Do you want to go for it? Looks like they are. 4th and 1. Garantano leaps over the pile, and he may have it. I think he does. And that will be a first down.
Love the aggressive call. Second time on 4th down. Give it to your quarterback. He's 6'4", over 200-some pounds. And it's an inch. You had a successful drive so far. Show you guys that you believe in them. And that's what's happening right now for Tennessee and Jeremy Pruitt's offense so far.
This drive started back at the 25. Then they were penalized 5 yards. So in reality, it started back at the 20. Handoff left side. Big power run as Ty Chandler bulldozes his way into the end zone, and Tennessee just trucks down the field for the opening score.
Chaney brings in 3 tight ends on this play and says, man, oh man, who is going to be the more physical player? Nice block by the fullback, and then do a good job of Ty Chandler getting behind his shoulder. Look at that offensive line, just drive guys into the end zone. There are literally 2-3 guys in the end zone. Love the push up front by that Tennessee offensive line to get him in the end zone.
Brent Samaglia to attempt the point after. And he remains perfect in his career on point after touchdowns. Tennessee pretty perfect on that opening drive. They lead by a touchdown. Down after a 14-play, 75 yards, and shocked. They went really up-tempo. That was an impressive opening drive for Tennessee.
Yeah, I love the way Jim Chaney changed the tempo a couple times, especially on 3rd and 4th downs, to try to keep Missouri off balance and mix a run and pass. They really had everything they wanted on that first drive.
I think he'd probably like to convert a 3rd down. Missed a couple of times, but converted on 4th to keep the drive alive twice. So now Tennessee will kick it off. Paxton Brooks will put his right foot into it. Tyler Beatty will fair catch it out to the 25-yard line. With that, time to get an update. Let's go to the studio. Peter.
Thank you, Dave. How about something about Will Muschamp and the Gamecocks facing 3rd-ranked teams? Remember last year they beat Georgia, and how about this? First drive, Kevin Harris, 7 carries, 33 yards. Colin Hill, 5 for 5. Gamecocks up 7-0 early on the Gators.
Well, thank you, Peter. We'll keep an eye on that, obviously. But Shawn Robinson is a guy that Tennessee will keep an eye on. Got his first start with Missouri after transferring from TCU. You see the numbers pretty efficient. 19 to 25 last week as he opens up rolling near side using his feet, but then throws it a little too high. That one is incomplete. It'll bring up 2nd down and 10. What did you make of Shawn Robinson's opening game with Missouri last week?
Well, he was efficient, no doubt about it. 19 of 25 for 185, but there were a lot of dink and dunks. He only had 2 passes that went over 15 yards in that ball game. One of them was a touchdown, but expect Shawn Robinson to throw the football down the field more vertically this ball game, but also use his legs just like they did. Try to get him on the outside and to create that run-pass option.
2nd down and 10. Larry Roundtree is your tailback. They will hand it to him, working the right side. Boy, sees a little seam and picks up 7. Of course, Larry Roundtree, one of those offensive players we'll keep an eye on today. They've got some weapons, too, now offensively.
Yeah, they do. Jalen Knox on the outside is another big-time player for them at the receiver position. Damon Hayden's a big receiver on the outside, 6'3", 215, and we know exactly what Tyler Beatty is about. Versatile, slasher type of player, but also is very dangerous out the backfield.
Larry Roundtree, 67 yards in that opening game against Alabama on 14 carries. He'll have the handoff here, left side, bounces off a couple of Tennessee defenders and takes it over the 40 out to the 42. That'll be a 1st down run on a 3rd and 2. He'll pick up 9.
And here's what you get out of Larry Roundtree. You're not going to take this guy down with arm tackles. He does a good job of going in there, but if you don't wrap him up and get hats on him, he's going to break these type of tackles and make big runs. What a conversion there for Missouri as they needed to get some 1st downs here in this first drive going, but tough, physical thumper of a running back in Larry Roundtree.
pistol formation. Jalen Knox. Well played by Tennessee. And obviously there are some guys that made some plays for Tennessee last week. Henry To'oTo'o was one of those, the sophomore linebacker. We'll call his name quite a bit today, along with some others.
Yeah, DeAndre Johnson, 2.5 sacks last week. Played really big for him. To'oTo'o is a guy on the inside who makes a lot of calls, the communication up front. And then Kevion Bennett will also be one of those guys you can see rushing passer who is very athletic, and they got to make sure they're aware of him for Missouri.
Robinson tries to keep it himself, nowhere to go. Greg Emerson, number 90, had a full hand of his jersey to slow him down and let his teammates get over there to make the play.
Big third down here for Sean Robinson. He has to throw this football down the field to convert this, or you got to find one of your playmakers. What does Tennessee do? They play man, they play zone. He's got to find the best matchup for his offense to try to create a big first down here.
The redshirt junior out of DeSoto, Texas, Sean Robinson. Signals Roundtree back into the backfield, and there is a whistle.
Timeout, Tennessee, the first of the half.
So we'll take a break as well. Missouri, big third down coming up.
SEC Network Football is presented by Allstate. You've never been in better hands, and in part by Zaxby's. Hand-breaded chicken and fresh ingredients made to order, only at Zaxby's.
Good look at Neyland Stadium on the banks of the Tennessee River. Don't forget, coming up at 4 o'clock Eastern, Kentucky hosts Ole Miss. And at 7:30, it's 20th ranked LSU and Vanderbilt. It's our SEC Saturday night matchup. You can also catch Mississippi State taking on Arkansas. That'll be on the SEC Network alternate channel. I think a lot of folks wondering just how successful that offense can be by Mike Leach after what they did to LSU last weekend. And speaking of offense, Missouri's going to need some offense right here on a 3rd down and 9.
Yeah, it looks like Tennessee is going to be a little zone. Looks like here to start. Bruce Snap has got to get a good read of what's happening in this defense.
Roundtree will motion back into the backfield alongside his quarterback.
Yep, Tennessee's playing cover 2. Looks like you see the safeties going wide. Now you get a check from the quarterback on the sideline.
Robinson keeps it, needs to make a guy miss, and can't do it. Well played by Bryce Thompson, who's made a bunch of those plays in his Tennessee career.
Yeah, not sure if he's going to keep it or run it. Too high says run the football, and this is a part of the game they wanted to see more out of Sean Robinson. Use his athleticism, but Bryce Thompson on the outside. What a great open field tackle by him.
Had 8 tackles the last week against South Carolina. So Grant McKinnis will punt it away, the grad transfer. And a fair catch called for around the 21-yard line. So Tennessee's defense stands up, gets their offense the football back, and Jarrett Garantano and company back on the field after what was a great opening drive, 75 yards. They'll have it 1st down and 10. And they went tempo. We'll see how much they want to continue. I know Jim Chaney was telling us at our meetings this week how he likes to kind of pick his spot. Like some coaches these days, Shock, they want to go, 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 go. He wants to go, then slow down, then go.
Yeah, it keeps that defense a little bit off balance and also keeps your quarterback in a good rhythm when you're able to keep that defense pretty stale.
Oh, Garantano hit as he let go of the football.
Oh, yeah, to the head. Looked like Jeffcoat came in there.
The previous play is under further review.
Yeah, watch it at the top of your screen. Jeffcoat comes in there and he lays a lick on Garantano there. You got to see if there's any, I don't know how he doesn't pick this football off on the outside in his rec straw.
And you know there's that target area for quarterbacks, kind of in the midsection. And obviously he is up there above the shoulders.
But the thing to wonder is, does he get that helmet to the side of Garantano there.
Well, as they review this play, we will step aside, have the results when we come back. Good news for Missouri fans. Trajan Jeffcoat stays in the game. As you look at the targeting rule, just to refresh your memory, and one of the things you picked out, forcible contact to head, neck area, and Shock, that's what they determined did not happen.
Yeah, they mentioned him getting that helmet to the side, which was really good by him, and that's why he's still in the ball game.
Missouri almost had themselves an interception on that last play. Instead, it's second down and 10, and the handoff will go to Eric Gray.
The movement up front by this Tennessee offensive line is impressive already. Look at these guys reach blocking and then getting up to the second level. Up on those linebackers, you see 75 getting up on Nick Bolden. Nice job there.
After the 10-yard pickup, Garantano going up top, coming near side. Boy, what a throw. Garantano lays it right into the old breadbasket to Josh Palmer.
And this is nothing but a deep over route here. He does a good job of giving space, and then watch him lay this football up, give some good air, but look at the area he has to drop the football into. What a very well-thrown football from JG.
33-yard reception for Palmer. Garantano again going up top, batted around, and that one is incomplete, trying to hit Ramel Keaton down the near sideline.
Watch for it right at the end here. He's trying to give his receiver an opportunity, but if he throws his football a little bit further down the field, he has an opportunity. But a nice job of having Sparks there, getting a finger in there, knock that football away. But I love the aggressive nature right now of Tennessee throwing the football down the field.
They'll run on second and 10. Big hole off the left side for Eric Gray.
Now, this is why Tennessee has been effective so far. They push the football vertically, but also when you do that, you stretch this defense wide, and now you hit these little creases right up the middle for a big run.
Boy, an excellent block by Wanye Morris, the sophomore. 6'5", 320 is an injured Missouri player being attended to.
Dave, you talked about Wanye Morris. This is a guy who practiced 5 times throughout the whole training camp portion of the season for the Tennessee Volunteers, and being able to open up holes like that. I tell you, this guy's hitting his stride.
It's Devin Nicholson, the injured player. Let's go down and check in with Dawn.
Guys, let's talk about the evolution of this line since Jeremy Pruitt has been here. I asked Jarrett Garantano about it, and he gave us a funny answer. He said, yeah, nobody's happier than his mom and dad and aunts and uncles with the upgrade in protection. Guys, 4 former 5-star offensive linemen starting today for the Tennessee Vols. Big difference than what JG had 3 years ago, where Jeremy Pruitt said just one of his offensive linemen weighed over 300 pounds.
You know, point blank, we asked him in our meetings, are you big enough? Are you fast enough to play SEC football? And he says, we can compete. He'll never be happy, right?
Yeah, you see Big K Mays are going to be a big part of that offensive line, but I know a little something about having those big guys up front who can block for you.
Plenty of time for Garantano. Trying to go into the end zone and hit Jalen Hyatt. Now, there are 4 true freshman wide receivers, highly touted receivers for Tennessee that saw some special teams work. Jim Chaney telling us this week that he's going to try to get these guys more in the rotation at wide receiver. We've already seen that with Jalen Hyatt.
Yeah, you got a lot of young talent with speed that Jeremy Pruitt also talked about. He wants bigger, he wants faster, he wants to be able to compete in this league, and you have to have those caliber of guys on offense.
4-man rushes and set up a screen. Ty Chandler.
Good job of Nick Bolton staying at home there, fighting off a block, getting off of it, because if not, Tennessee had a pretty good play there on 3rd down. But again, the 3rd down woes continue for Tennessee. But it all comes back to 1st and 2nd down, a couple deep passes that you don't hit. And now they forced a 3rd and long situation, and Missouri kept everything in front of them.
So Tennessee will bring out Brent Samaglio. This will be from the near hash, and that one is yanked dead left. So no points on the board for Tennessee. The drive stalls out, but they lead 7-0. While we got a moment, let's get an update. Peter, what's going on?
Well, punting might be optional in Gainesville today after the Gamecocks go 80 yards on their first drive. Florida answers 70-yard drive. Damian Pierce punches it in from 2 yards out. 7-7. Back to you guys in Knoxville.
Thank you, Peter. South Carolina going to hang around.
Shootout going down there, Dave, you think?
They're just going to hang around. Will Muschamp, obviously the former coach at Florida, you know, he's got probably a little something extra in store for the Gators.
Coaches don't do that kind of stuff, do they?
No. Let's see what Missouri has in store here. 3-man rush. Robinson has to dump it off underneath, and it's incomplete. Eli Drinkwitz in his first year at Missouri, he's also the offensive coordinator, calling all the plays. And that's been his role as a college coach, where he made a name for himself, is calling plays. He is a exceptional offensive mind, to say the least.
Yeah, we talked to Jeremy Pruitt. He said one thing he found out quickly about Eli Drinkwitz is he's probably the smartest coach in the league right now.
Pressure comes, Robinson feels it, and he is dropped. Henry To'oTo'o.
You're talking about being able to read, recognize, and then you shot out of the cannon. Watch Henry To'oTo'o right here. Recognize, here comes the quarterback. And before that offensive lineman can get up to block him, he is already on the other side of the line of scrimmage. And right now, Tennessee has no fear of Missouri throwing the football, so they're just coming after him in the run game.
Last week had 6 tackles and, of course, that 32-yard pick six. And now Missouri's backed up 3rd and 15 for their own 17-yard line. Again, Tennessee bringing 3, dropping 8, batted in the air and almost picked off. A leaping Jeremy Banks just couldn't get his hands on it, but that'll bring up a 4th down. So Tennessee's defense again stands tall in back-to-back possessions.
Yeah, just no offensive rhythm for Missouri right now. Not being able to pick up anything on first down and just missing some easy completions to give yourself a chance. And right now, Tennessee, they have all hands on deck against this Missouri offense right now and have them kind of tied up.
McInnes will punt it away again. Fair catch at the 35-yard line. Let's take a closer look at that Tennessee offensive line with the protection spotlight, brought to you by Allstate. And Don mentioned it, they have 4 5-stars on that front.
Their ability to get to that second level makes them really important. Then you see hats on hats. You see guys are being moved. The line of scrimmage is changing, and you see on the touchdown here, the wall that is made by that Tennessee offensive line has been impressive so far in this first quarter. I'm sure Jeremy Pruitt and Jim Chaney are excited that they have something they can hang their hat on in the run game.
Well, that O-line back on the field now on 1st down and 10. 3rd possession for Tennessee. Here in the opening quarter, that pass is caught. They'll give him 9 on the catch. That one goes to Josh Palmer, who had that big game against South Carolina, had the game-winning touchdown, finished with 6 catches, 85 yards.
Yeah, they think he's probably their best all-around receiver, has really developed as a receiver on the outside, has all the physical tools. Just love to have a guy like that on the edge.
Not much there for Ty Chandler as he's wrapped up about the moment he got the football by the guy that makes play after play, and that's Nick Bolton, who coaches just have fallen in love with. A guy that really has played himself into possibly a 1st-round draft pick.
Yeah, and his coaches talk about the way he goes about his business, just a professional style in which he goes. He studies tapes all the time, takes care of his body, is a true leader in the middle of that defense, and Nick Bolton is a guy who they have to have on the field at all times. He gets them lined up, communicates with the D-line. Nick Bolton will be all over the field today, and if they have a chance to stay in this ball game, he's a big part of it.
Third down and 1. Little sweep coming near side and lost football in the process, but Eric Gray will have enough for the first down.
Nothing but an extended handoff here, long, but you get your speed guy on the edge, and watch out. Missouri tries to stretch it out as far as they can, but Eric Gray does a good job of using his speed to get to the edge, and they finally convert one of those critical third downs in this ball game.
Inside handoff. Ty Chandler on that carry.
See tempo for them. They going back and forth, going at it.
Another handoff to Chandler. You can just start to see, I know it's early, late first quarter, early in this game, but this offensive line for Tennessee really starting to own the line of scrimmage.
And that's where they want to live. They want to be able to run the football, and then that sets up the pass game. And now, because you did really well on first and second down, here's a 3rd and 3 that you can pretty much do anything you want offensively if you're Jim Chaney.
5 up on the line of scrimmage for Missouri. They'll go handoff again, and well played there by Nick Bolton once again, who's on everybody's watch list. Butkus Nagurski, first team preseason All-SEC performer, making another play.
Got his 4th tackle of the ball game already.
So Tennessee's going to keep their offense out there again and try to go for it on 4th and 1.
They're already 2 for 2, Dave. Why not?
Well, they got the big boys on the field right now. Garantano, a big boy in his own right at 6'4", 230, will have enough to move the chains.
I mean, the difference is this offensive line. We can't stress it enough. Just look at the movement on this quarterback sneak. Look how he gets 2-3 yards before he's even contacted. Tennessee in the middle are doing really a good job. Jerome Carvin, Brandon Kennedy, Trey Smith in the middle of that offensive line have really done a good job.
Well, that'll do it for the end of the first 15 minutes. Tennessee dominates it. Scored a touchdown, missed a field goal, but on another drive. Back in a moment. Let's take a look at the smoothest play brought to you by Velveeta and the speed sweep.
Yeah, everybody talks about a jet sweep. What is its purpose? First of all, it gets some of your playmakers to perimeter and it stretches the defense east and west. People always talk about get north and south, but now the defense has to cover every inch, every blade of grass on the field, and it keeps those defensive ends, those linebackers honest. A lot of teams run the jet sweep. It's an extended handoff or toss sweep, and a lot of teams have been successful with it.
First down and 10 for Tennessee. Garantano hit as he throws, lofts it up in the air, and that'll be out of the reach of everybody on that far sideline. But another good drive by Tennessee as they're getting in scoring range again.
You got to give their offensive line coach Will Friend a lot of credit because he has really molded this offensive line into what he wants it to be. Jim Chaney, who we know wants to throw the football, but he understands the importance of a good run game. And now, today, they are being really effective running the football.
Loose football. No whistle. Play on. Down the sideline. And Missouri in shape as Martez Manuel comes up with the loose football, and he will be knocked out of bounds inside the 35.
Yeah, I'm not even sure if he had this football long enough to call it a catch. Let's see if he has it and makes a football move as soon as he catches the football. That's going to be close because he actually lucky turned his head. That'll be interesting to see if they call that a football move or not.
Before the interception, personal foul, hands to the face, defense. It's a 15-yard penalty. It's an automatic first down.
Boy, you don't want to see that. Martez Manuel, who is just a super playmaker on the back end from a safety spot, not only doesn't get the recovery, but he gets banged up, and the defense has to stay on the field.
Yeah, all for naught. comes up with the big play there and, you know, trying to make a play for his team. And I've seen him already all over the field playing inside the box, playing a good coverage guy. What you see right at the end right here, one of those big 300-pound linemen, looks like 64, Wanya Morris, lands on top of him as he goes to the ground. Maybe got the wind knocked out of him, but hopefully he's okay and able to return to the ball game.
Jim Chaney telling us, the offensive coordinator for Tennessee, about this Missouri defense and how he felt they were really, really strong up the middle. Which means they try to hit the edges a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, when you have a strength up the middle, as they've been done, we just talked about the jet sweep, using that to pick up a big first down, a couple plays previous. You understand where the strength is. And Nick Bolton, we've talked about already in this ball game, 4 or 5 tackles already. He is pretty good. Martez Manuel on the back end. Tyree Gillespie is another player on that back end who are really good. So understanding what they do well is crucial for Jim Chaney. But I know him, he won't shy away from attacking these guys in scheme.
Hey, tonight we'll have SEC football final hosted by Dari Noka. Of course, Gene Chizik, Chris Doering, and Roman Harper will all be alongside as they'll take you through the biggest stories from the day and break down all the games. And it's so much fun now with nothing but conference games, right? I mean,
yes.
How great is their job, right, to watch?
I mean, you got a Gator, you got an Auburn Tiger there, you got a Roll Tide Alabama guy. I mean, you can only imagine what the conversations are like by the end of the day with that crew.
That's coming up 10:30 Eastern right here on the SEC Network. Here's Eli Drinkwitz. Both these coaches, obviously they reviewed this and they're just going to call it an incomplete pass. But both these coaches, we've talked about it, both of them went through very similar situations trying to get ready for. They just couldn't practice. They just didn't have bodies. They couldn't scrimmage. It's almost think about how amazing it is that they actually played games last week and played them pretty well.
Unreal. Jeremy Pruitt said at one point in time for 10 out of 14 practice, he had 50 players out.
There goes Tennessee. Eric Gray to the end zone. Touchdown balls.
Start up front with the offensive line, get the double teams, get up to the second level, and then it's all about Gray making one guy miss. Look at the kick out block there by Wanya Morris. Comes around, kick out that linebacker, then there's a crease, and you got one-on-one. They're always asked the back, do you got a chance to make one miss? Wanya Morris there, look at him collapse everything down to that left side, and you got one guy to beat in the open field, and Tyree Gillespie, and Eric Gray does that.
Untouched into the end zone. Touchdown, Tennessee. Point after is up and good. Well, the Volunteers looking good. They lead it by a couple of touchdowns. Nine plays, 65 yards. Eric Gray gets in the action after the first touchdown scored by his counterpart in the backfield, Ty Chandler. And offensive line just doing a great job, DJ.
Wanya Morris coming around, kicking out the defender, and then you got one man to miss, and then you got receivers on the back end blocking. Josh Palmer, one of your big-time receivers, leading the way for Eric Gray. This offensive line has completely taken over in this first half already. You have to continue to see more of that happening.
Oh, this Missouri offense better get some first downs. Their defense has been out there almost the entire first quarter and change. Time to get an update. Let's go back to Peter Burns.
Thanks, Dave. Kyle Trask found Kyle Pitts for 4 touchdowns last week, so why not do it again, right? Finding him again for a touchdown. Kyle Pitts only had 5 touchdowns all last year. He's got 5 in 5 quarters. Florida up 14-7.
They fell behind 7-0, now lead it by a touchdown. And Tennessee up 14-0, a new quarterback in. And we expected this early in the second quarter as Connor Bazelak gets a chance to show what he can do. The redshirt freshman out of Dayton, Ohio will hand it off to Larry Roundtree off the right side. Well, Bazelak last week got some work against Alabama, 7 of 14, 50 yards through the air, or excuse me, 68 yards through the air. A guy that ran the wishbone in high school. Coach is telling us that every time he makes a throw, DJ, he gets better.
Yeah, and you can see his confidence build last week versus Alabama. Ended up playing well toward the end of that ball game.
Roundtree pushed out of bounds.
And when I watched Bazelak on film last week, I thought he did a good job of moving inside the pocket. He's still trying to learn how to play in this league. But with any quarterback, you got to have a good run game, and you can see early trying to establish that, and we have a penalty. It's like holding on Missouri.
Holding, offense, number 7. 10-yard penalty. Replay second down.
Well, Missouri can't get out of their own way right now offensively.
And the one quote that we got from Coach Drinkwitz when we talked to him, we said, before we can win championships, we can't beat ourselves. And those type of penalties will beat yourselves. You can't have these long yardage situations here on second down.
2nd and 15. Bazelak throws it underneath. It's Daniel Parker is tied in, and he'll get it back to the original line of scrimmage or close to it.
Still brings up another 3rd and long situation here for the quarterback coming in here who's getting his first time in his ball game. How comfortable are you with Connor throwing the football down the field? We'll find out right here.
I just feel like this is a really big moment in this game. I know it's early second quarter. Bazelak throws on the run, pass is caught. That'll be a first down for the Tigers. Jalen Knox, go to your big play guy, the junior out of Jonesboro, Louisiana.
And you just love the calmness. Watch this route, does a good job getting to the top of it and eases himself before he goes out of bounds so he doesn't run himself out of bounds. But love what Connor did. Stepped up in the pocket, was nice and poised, and delivered a strike for a huge 3rd down completion. You just talked about it, Dave. They need a couple first downs just to give themselves some confidence.
Ball sits at the 39. Pistol formation. Here goes Knox in motion. Handed off to Roundtree. Runs hard, hurdles a man in the open field. He'll be knocked out of bounds in Tennessee territory around the 37-yard line.
And look what happens here when you get a chance to pick up a first down. And we saw earlier, there's the jet sweep action. It moves the linebackers out of the way, and you see they overrun it, and now you get the zone come right up underneath it, and now you got a big physical back who can make you miss.
Roundtree will lose a couple on that handoff to the right side. Roundtree will take a breather.
Tennessee defense looks a little bit on their heels now after picking up that first down from Missouri. Connor coming in, bringing them a little spark, throwing the football, and also they're opening up a couple lanes here in the run game.
4-man rush. Bazelak, nice tight spiral. Pass is caught by Damon Hazelton, who had 5 catches last week. But boy, what a throw from Bazelak.
Oh, so impressed right now with Connor. Cover 2, he throws it right in between the corner and the safety, flattens the receiver out, going to the sideline. Just a precision throw by Connor, getting this Missouri offense on the move.
Tyler Beatty on that carry.
And watch Connor here, nice poise, confident, going through his progressions. You can see him go 1-2 and find his receiver on the corner route. Just an excellent job of him going through his progressions and finding the open receiver. And you can see the change in this offense right now with Connor being able to throw the football down.
Pistol formation again. Roundtree, not much room to run. Well played by that Tennessee front. Darrell Middleton, or excuse me, Bumpus in there making that play. Latrell, 88.
Tennessee trying to change the line of scrimmage. Bumpus coming around from that backside, doing that pursuit. Missouri has to get the backside cut off on these runs. If not, they're going to run it down from the backside every time.
Well, this will be the 10th play of this drive coming up for Missouri. This is exactly what they needed. 3rd down and 6. Underneath throw, passes bobbled and almost picked off. Right through the hands of Jalen Knox. Lucky that didn't go into number 5. The other way for 6.
Yeah, that's a great job here of throwing it, and he threw it on time. This is a football that has to be caught right here. You got a young quarterback in the ball game. You got an experienced receiver. He has to help his quarterback out, but more than anything, this was a really successful drive to get him in position to get points on the board.
27-yard field goal attempt. And the kick is up and good. So Missouri on the board. Well, the 25,000 or so fans inside Neyland Stadium today on what is a gorgeous afternoon have seen the Tennessee Volunteers take a 14-3 lead after an 11-play drive capped off by the Harrison Mevis 27-yard field goal. 10:17 to go here in the second quarter, and that was just the drive Missouri needed. I know it was only 3, but they kept their defense off the field. They moved the football behind Connor Bazelak. So a nice drive for Missouri. With that, let's get an update. Peter.
Hey, Dave, as Vol fans watching know, Shi Smith is an absolute weapon. Remember, 10 catches last week against the Vols, and Colin Hill finds him 4 yards out. He's got his 4th catch of the day. 14-14, a track meet down in the swamp. Back to Dave. DJ.
So Tennessee will have it. Thank you, Peter, at the 25-yard line. Big run by Jabari Small, the true freshman, getting his first carry inside Neyland Stadium. And it's a good one, brought down by Bledsoe in the backfield as he picks up 16 on that carry.
And even with Missouri putting more guys at the line of scrimmage, they're still creating these rush lanes, and the freshmen, running through guys.
Lot to like.
Oh, man,
About
watch
Jabari
this here.
Small.
Tennessee getting to the second level. He just gives everything to Joshua Bledsoe coming downhill. Whoo, man. This freshman's coming here with some, hey, I want some of this action, too, from Eric Gray and Ty Chandler.
Out of Memphis, Tennessee. They'll take another handoff and get it out to the 46-yard line. 6 feet, 200 pounds. Played some in special teams last week, but gets his first carries here against Missouri.
And one thing about Jeremy Pruitt, he's not afraid to play the freshman. Played 21 true freshmen last year, 8 earned a spot. So if you can play for him and you can play in this league, he'll put you on the field, and he's showing that.
Garantano. That one is incomplete. Right around midfield, trying to pick up the first down by going to Keaton. So now a 4th down and 5 situation for the Vols.
Yeah, and this one I think maybe on Jared here. If ball placement is everything, and he throws it a little bit too far inside, and that allows the DB to break on the football, if he puts that ball on that outside shoulder, they got a chance to pick up that first down.
Fair catch called for at the 16-yard line. Missouri's defense stands up. They'll have the football when we come back. Connor Bazelak takes the reins again at quarterback for Missouri. Speaking of quarterbacks, the Patriots-Chiefs game scheduled for 4 o'clock tomorrow has now been moved to Monday or Tuesday because of COVID-19 positive tests by both teams, including Cam Newton. So that game has been postponed tomorrow. And they hope to see if they can reschedule that for Monday or Tuesday, but only time will tell.
Well wishes for all those guys.
Bazelak going up top, has a man, passes, caught and dropped. Oh my, that was a big gainer right through the hands of Dominic Jacinto.
Jacinto, you got to come down with this one. He does a great job of splitting both of the safeties in the corner, and the ball's a little bit behind him, but this is a catch you have to have if you're Jacinto. What a big play. Would have been a huge explosive play down the field. Would have gave Missouri even more confidence on first down. Big play bitch from Missouri.
Well, another excellent throw from Connor Bazelak. Keep it on the ground here and give it to Jalen Knox. He'll turn the corner, have the first down, and steps out of bounds. Connor has come on and made a difference to this Missouri offense. For more on that, let's go to Dawn.
Made a difference on this sideline too, Dave. A little bit of energy and a spark with this Mizzou offense, but his teammates are the one that are jumping up and down and screaming and yelling. Connor Bazelak, nothing, no emotion, so even kill, clearly in control. He's got that ice water running through his veins like Shock used to have in Neyland back in the day, right?
Don, I'm just going to tell you, I mean, that's just how QBs are. We are all calm and collected.
He was too calm, didn't see that snap coming. Pass is caught. Kiki Chisholm down the sideline, and Missouri will have it in Tennessee territory around the 40.
But Dave, this is the big part about it. Yeah, he's still calm and collected. He didn't panic. He still kept his eyes down the field and completed what is a big-time play now to Kiki Chisholm, and he makes some yards after the run.
Now it's Tyler Beatty on the carry inside the 40. Let's not forget, this guy came in, even though he ran the wishbone in high school, he was still considered a 4-star quarterback. Ranked the 10th best prospect by our recruiting experts at ESPN. And so obviously people saw him in the summertime and saw what he could do, even though he was in that offense.
Yeah. I mean, you can see the composure. You can see some guys just have it, regardless of what system you're in. You can see him at the line of scrimmage. He has complete control of this offense, and it may be changing up the ball for Missouri right now with him at QB.
Gets it down to the 33-yard line. Bazelak did play some last year. He redshirted, though. But remember, you had that last year anyway. You had the 4 games. You could play in the 4 games and still maintain your red shirt. He played in 3 games and completed 15 of 21 passes. I think that's one of the great things we're doing now in college football.
No doubt about it, Dave. I'm with you. Giving these kids some exposure, some experience is big.
Roundtree on 3rd and 1. I don't think he got it. It's going to be close, but let's see where they spot this football.
And the reason he had to bounce it is because Henry told he filled that gap, and watch, he had to bounce to the right. As soon as Henry's there, he tries to bounce it to the right, and there are 3-4 big defensive linemen for Tennessee there trying to hold him up.
They're going to give him the first down.
Yeah.
Lost a shoe in the process.
Who needs shoes, Dave? Come on.
My kids apparently don't.
Timeout, Tennessee.
I think socks are good enough. Any parent knows what I'm talking about. Timeout on the field. We'll step aside. Back in a moment. Saturday is here, and it's time to represent your school. Show us how big you're going today. Submit your best fan video this weekend to #ShowYourSaturday, and you might just get your 15 seconds of fame. Seen some good videos the first couple of weeks of the SEC slate. Connor Bazelak, 4 of 6, 68 yards. You see those 68 yards? That's all they have through the air. He's brought them all to the table. Looking to add to that right here. Buys time, and he'll just have to scoot out of bounds. Good coverage downfield by Tennessee.
And here's the biggest difference that he's had in this ball game. By him being able to throw the football down the field, it gives them a threat in the run game now, because now Tennessee has to worry about the threat of them throwing the ball vertically. At first it was all about stopping Robinson in the run game, the zone reads, the jet sweeps, but now Connor's coming here and he's put a little bit extra on this offense and forcing Tennessee to play a little bit extra.
Beatty got close to the line of scrimmage. Could have been a 4 or 5 yard loss. He avoided the tackle of DeAndre Johnson in that backfield. Flowers came up to make the hit. Bazelak now looking at a 3rd down and 8.
Tennessee hasn't brought a lot of pressure on this particular drive on Connor to see if he can get rid of the football or can even find a way to find his open guy. You see the condensed formation down at the bottom for Missouri. But it looks like Tennessee's going to play zone.
Two-man rush, pressure comes. Bazelak is dropped in the backfield. DeAndre Johnson, who had 2.5 sacks a week ago, give him another one here today.
Well, when you have a guy like DeAndre Johnson off the edge and you see the rip and pull and then lean coming around that corner, the speed to get around, you don't have to bring any pressure. You can get home with 4. That is big for this defense and Jeremy Pruitt to get home there and get the sack.
The SEC Defensive Lineman of the Week with a big play as Missouri will attempt the field goal. Harrison Mevis to attempt it. He connected from 27 earlier. This is for 50 yards. Plenty of distance. How about the true freshman knocking that home from midfield? Well done. And 3 more on the board for the Tigers. 14-6 our tally with that. Let's get an update. Peter, what's going on?
All right, guys, coming up on the Farm Ridge Halftime Report, we'll show you updates between Florida, South Carolina, also break down Auburn and Georgia. But Chiz, big score there for the Tigers.
2 big drives back-to-back for Missouri to give them a little confidence. How about Tennessee's defense? I love the way they're filling, coming up, run supporting around the line of scrimmage. Really impressive.
All right, we'll talk about that more coming up at half. Back to you guys.
Thank you. Can't wait to hear your comments. Tennessee leads this one. Boy, they came out of the gates on fire. They took their opening drive with 75 yards and just marched it really in quick fashion, up-tempo, and then they stalled out, missed a field goal on their second possession. But obviously Jim Chaney is mixing up quite well today, but give Missouri credit hanging in there. I mean, they could have folded their tents. They had a big 3rd down. Remember a couple of drives ago, if they don't convert there, Tennessee's going to have good field position, and who knows what happens, but they converted.
Yeah, that's the number one thing that Coach Drinkwitz talked about last week facing Alabama coming in his first game. Said, hey, I love the way our team competed. We didn't play our best football in the first half, but in the second half, we continued to compete. And you can see that early in this ball game, down early, but still fighting back.
That will sail through the end zone and out to the 25-yard line. That's where Tennessee will start. The Vols have picked up 208 yards of offense. Missouri at 139, and really the first few possessions amounted to nothing. So Connor Bazelak comes in and creates a little bit of spark. Let's see if that can transfer to this Missouri defense.
Yeah, because when one side plays well, you can kind of feel the energy and you play with a different passion. Can Missouri defense come up with another huge stop like they did on the previous?
Garantano threw for over 400 yards last year against Missouri. Hands it off here and nowhere to go for Ty Chandler. So maybe there is that little spark defensively as Trey Williams gets in the backfield in a hurry.
And the defensive coordinator, Ryan Walters, is not shying away from these Tennessee receivers. He's playing man coverage. He's loading up the box board to take away this run game and telling his DBs on the outside, you guys got to hold up.
Front line and gets into that second level. Nice run. He will have a first down after 13 yards.
Look at the double team get up to that second level again, and you miss it right there, and they just pancake the guy to get him on the ground.
Quick snap by Tennessee. They'll give it to Chandler again.
Tennessee's offensive line is answering the bell right now as far as being physical at the point of attack and creating a little rush lane for these backs. And we know Ty Chandler is a downhill north and south runner. If there's a crease, he'll find it.
2nd and 7. Garantano stands tall in the pocket, dumps it off. Pass is caught, goes to Jalen Hyatt, who has been a factor in the pass game here in the first half.
And you got to give credit to the offensive line again. I mean, they came with a little pressure, but Garantano able to stand in the pocket, have time to survey the field, because it took a while for this route to happen. And he's coming from the right all the way back across the left side. Took a lot of time for this route to create a well-thrown football for a big-time play and conversion.
18-yard reception. Garantano. There goes Ty Chandler inside the 20-yard line. Another big gain on the ground for Tennessee.
We talk about the action of the Jets.
Bring him down.
Dave, we talk about the action of the jet sweep on the outside. Watch what it does to number 1, Bledsoe. As the jet sweep come across, he widens, and then he comes inside, and there's a huge hole to run through. Oh, man, just an awesome job of Jim Chaney setting up the different looks and forcing Missouri to stay honest.
Again, we'll hand it to Chandler. Not much there, a couple of yards. You know, I've noticed about Garantano as he's thrown the football here and made some nice throws. The pocket has been, for the most part, clean for him. How many times have we seen him the last few years just get annihilated right as he releases the football? I mean, you almost felt bad for him at times.
We've had a couple games where we weren't sure if he's going to get up off the ground. And he was so excited to have this group in front of him. And they have definitely protected him today and it wasn't the first game.
Another inside handoff. Ty Chandler can't get through the arms of Nick Bolton, who continues to rack up tackles. He has 8 here in the first half. This guy's just a beast.
Here's the jet sweep action again, and just because of the jet sweep, number 3, Martez Manuel has to stay home. He can't dive in and try to make the play on the back because he has to make sure he doesn't hand it off on that jet sweep. Just those little nuances are keeping Missouri a little bit off balance on defense.
He will score. Touchdown, Tennessee. And they convert on 3rd down in a big way.
Not third down, Dave. They convert on 3rd down. Oh, what a great play call by Jim Chaney. He gets exactly what you want. Man coverage. He gets Bolton on the outside. When you got those big offensive linemen out in front of him. Look at 73 Trey Smith out in front blocking. You got Brandon Kennedy, the center, all the way out there blocking. And you get a guy like Eric Gray in open space. Forget about it.
Maglia with the point after. That will make it a 21-6 game with 44 seconds to go before halftime.
What a response from Tennessee, Dave. I mean, unbelievable response after Missouri goes down the field, hits a huge 50-yard field goal, and they come right back down the field and not just get 3, they put 7 on the board. Huge response from Tennessee and that offense.
8 plays, 75 yards, 3:33 off the clock. And Gray with that 13-yard touchdown reception. His touchdown today. Well, they got a nice little combo there with Gray and Chandler. And I've noticed that, they're using Gray more. They kind of split him out. They've been running Chandler mainly out of the backfield. But we've seen Gray split out 4 or 5 times today, and they're trying to get the football to him.
Yeah, he's a real threat in space with the football, and they're finding ways to be creative to get him the football outside, and when they do get it to him, he makes plays like that.
That will go out of bounds. Now with 44 seconds, you're going to get decent field position here after that mark off for the kick out of bounds. How aggressive do you want to be? You got all 3 timeouts left.
I think Connor has shown you the ability that he's poised, he's confident, he's not going to throw it into coverage. I think you give him a shot to throw the football down the field. Now, everything on this first down play has to be good. You have to have a good first play to get this drive started, but I think you give the young kid an opportunity.
I just saw there a moment ago, Missouri will get the football to start the second half. So let's see if they can get some points here to end this first half. Bazelak being chased, feels it, gets out of bounds. Might have gotten a yard. 39 seconds to go.
Hey, you see defensive coordinator Derek Ansley for Tennessee is not going to allow Connor just to sit back there and survey the field. He brings Henry To'oTo'o right off that first play trying to force him out. And good job downfield of the coverage, but Connor is expected to see some pressure on this drive.
They'll split Beatty out. Bazelak hit as he throws, gets the pass off underneath to Knox. They'll spot his forward progress near the 40, so it'll be 3rd down at about 5.5. And the clock continues to run. They have those 3 timeouts. Bazelak under pressure. Chase as he throws, and that one is out of bounds. Devon Bennett put some heat on Bazelak, forcing the throw with 8 seconds.
Yeah, that was a different looking drive there for Missouri as Tennessee decided to ramp up the pressure a little bit on him. Played a little more coverage, but also the front four got after him and forced him outside the pocket to see what he wanted, not be able to see what he wanted as quickly as he did in those first few drives he was in the ballgame.
False start, offense, number 11. 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Grant McInnes will try to punt this away.
Timeout, Tennessee. Their 3rd and final of the half.
So Tennessee will take the timeout. Hey, don't forget, coming up right here on the SEC Network, some great football action heading your way after this one at 4 o'clock Eastern. Kentucky will host Ole Miss. Impressed with Ole Miss offense last week. And then at 7:30 Eastern, it's LSU against Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt hung in on the road at Texas A&M. We all know what happened to LSU. See if they can rebound. That's our SEC Saturday night matchup. And then, of course, another chance to watch Mike Leach's offense in action. If you want to watch Arkansas and Mississippi State go at it, that's on the SEC Network alternate channel. To find the SEC Network alternate channel, be sure to go to secnetwork.com. And, of course, you can see every game. This is what we do. Every game on the app, right? Because we're always on the go.
No doubt. Everybody's always on the move. See everything you wanted. We saw Arkansas last week, Dave. Barry Odom and that defense. Will he have something for that air raid offense of Mike Leach? Will be interesting to watch.
We will hear from Jeremy Pruitt at halftime, so stay around as we get you to the guys in the studio when this is over. And finally, the punt is away and a fair catch called for at the 25-yard line with 1 second. There you go. There you go. I was going to say, what are we doing? Let's do yeah. So good half for Tennessee. They lead at 21-6 after 30 minutes of play, trying to keep their streak alive. We'll get it to the studio right now. Peter Burns.
Welcome to the Farm Ridge Halftime Report. As Dave Neal just said, we'll hear from Coach Jeremy Pruitt with Don Davenport here in a couple of minutes with Gene Chizik, Chris Doering. I am Peter Burns, and 7-game winning streak for the Vols on the way to number 8 right now. Hi, Cade Mays. We were waiting for you to show up. What did you think of that, Gene Chizik, right off the bat?
Well, the offensive line was already stout, but you know what? Cade Mays getting added to the mix, unbelievable.
All right, so let's get back into it. Jeremy Pruitt caught up with Don Davenport.
Time expired in the half. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 1, Missouri. We also had unsportsmanlike conduct, number 9, for Tennessee. The fouls will cancel. That is halftime now.
Football presented by Allstate as 21st ranked Tennessee taking on the Missouri Tigers. They lead at 21-6 after one half of football, trying to extend their SEC long 7-game win streak. In the first half, Tennessee came out, DJ, and really showed you what they can do offensively.
Yeah, it was all about the big boys up front, creating space, and Ty Chandler, Eric Gray, the combination of those two guys running downhill, running physical, but this offensive line created so many things. And you talk about Eric Gray, getting him in space, allowing him to make one guy miss, and then he's going to find his way in the end zone. But Jim Chaney has done a good job of finding ways to be creative with him, and he has become an absolute weapon for this Tennessee offense in the first half. Expect to see a lot more of that here in the second.
Well, you look at these first half stats, and one number that's not on that board is Tennessee converted 3 of 8 on third down. Remember last week they were just 1 of 8. One of those conversions went for a touchdown. But that is our story statistically speaking. Our stories down the sideline. Let's go to Dawn.
Well, guys, for Missouri, this is Connor Bazelak's game and half moving forward. Head coach Eli Drinkwitz told me that he liked the decisions that he made. He liked what he was able to do and how he managed the game. What he said he was concerned with was the other side of the ball. Defensively, they've got to do more to get the ball back in Connor Bazelak's hands.
Yeah, Connor was outstanding in that first half. Good news for Missouri is they get the football here to start the second half as there's a flag on the kickoff. We ended the first half with flags, a couple of unsportsmanlike
During the
conduct
return,
fouls.
blocking the back, 29 receiving team, half the distance to the goal, first down.
That were offsetting, so we all went to the locker room, and so Missouri will start this half backed up. But Connor Bazelak, obviously you got to go with him. The offense seemed to be clicking, DJ. What was it about Connor that you liked? What stood out to you?
Well, he was poised. He was confident under a little duress sometimes inside the pocket, but he found the open receiver, was accurate with the football, and then turned it over. Taking care of the football in a game like this is number one, but also getting some first downs, throwing the football, opening it up for the run game was also big for the Missouri offense, and now they need a critical big drive here to start this third quarter.
Ooh, look where that football is at the 6-yard line. This defense will be licking their chops right here. Well, Missouri to a couple of field goals in the first half. Bazelak with a shoulder fake going up top. Another nice throw. Pass caught out over the 40. Tyler Beatty. That's how you get out of trouble.
Yeah, you're talking about a wheel route coming out of that backfield here. Tyler Beatty is similar to how they use Eric Gray for Tennessee. Look at him coming out of the backfield here, and he does nothing but a wheel route. He just uses his speed, and what a pretty throw here from Connor Bazelak, laying that football right in there for his back to come down with it. And you mentioned it, they getting out the shadows of your end zone with a big play on first down.
35-yard play will set him up first down and 10. They'll get it to Damon Hazelton. He's out to the 45-yard line. So Hazelton, the graduate transfer from Virginia Tech.
And that don't look like a lot, but it's really big for first down. You pick up 2-3 yards on first down. Now you're ahead of the chains. Now you can run it, you can throw it. It gives your quarterback and your play caller many options here as opposed to not getting anything on first down.
There goes Larry Roundtree out to the 46-yard line. Boy, both these offenses, it's interesting. All the movement, they call it eye candy, right? There's people going every which way before these snaps for both these teams.
Yeah, and the one thing, you know, defense, when all that happens, it's all about discipline. You have to trust what you see, and sometimes you get fooled, but that's what offenses will try to do. And if you don't read your keys, you'll be lost, and that's what offenses are expecting.
So third down and 4. Missouri 3 of 8 on third downs in the first half. Tennessee brings 4. Quick throw, low throw around midfield, and they were trying to hit Jalen Knox with it. It'll be incomplete, so fourth down coming up.
But if anything, that was a I would call a very productive drive because you moved it out of the shadow of your end zone. Now you're going to change field position for your defense. And even though you don't get points, you get a couple first downs, it gets you out the shadow of your end zone, and now you force Tennessee to go 70, 80 yards as opposed to possibly getting the ball at midfield.
McGinnis will punt it away. Eric Gray will field it. Fair catch called for. They will spot it right around the 8-yard line. Hey, Monday at 7 o'clock Eastern, it's Thinking Out Loud, presented by Regions. It's back for another season, but we've got a brand new crew. Alyssa Lang hosts with Spencer Hall, Richard Johnson, and Brandon Boykin. They'll break down the weekend on the gridiron and talk about the hottest topics for the coming week. It's all right here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. And to say that Alyssa has her hands full with that group would be an understatement.
No doubt about it. Trying to keeping all those dudes under control.
Yeah.
Whew.
Well, let's see if Missouri can keep this Tennessee offense under control. They've got the balls backed up. Boy, they did flip the field. Missouri had it at their own 6 a moment ago, and now Tennessee has it just outside their 5 as the carry goes to Ty Chandler. Not much working there. No gain on the play.
And one guy we haven't talked about a lot is 78 Kobe Whiteside for Missouri up front on that defensive line. He didn't make the play there, but the penetration forced the bow out of the running back, and now his other guys were able to come home. So nice job of penetration up top by that senior Kobe Whiteside.
Good look at what Garantano is seeing as he surveys the field on 2nd down and 10. Garantano. Pass is caught over there by Josh Palmer. He'll be covered by Enos Rakestraw, the true freshman. And you know Alabama last week were trying to pick on old number 2 who got the start.
But they thought he played pretty well on the outside. He got beat a couple times on the outside, but you love the route by Palmer. Nice and concise, gets to his point and sits there, and the quarterback delivers a strike for a conversion.
Rakestraw, the first true freshman to start an opener on defense since 2017 for the Missouri Tigers. Ty Chandler stood upright at the 20-yard line. Brought down by Isaiah McGuire, along with Nick Bolton, who's, again, just having one of those games. Nick Bolton is just some kind of player. Of course, his dad was a linebacker at Louisiana Tech from 1989 to 93. Really, his dad, they still talk football every day. His dad taught him how to really study the game, the work off the field.
Yeah, and everybody talks about his work ethic and study habits, and of course, it comes from his dad who's been there and done it. So having a guy you can lean on is really good.
That was batted in the air and incomplete. That might have been Bolton who got his hand on that. For more on 32 and White, let's go down to Dawn.
Yeah, guys, he's that chip on his shoulder kind of guy. And I asked defensive coordinator Ryan Walters where he grew the most this offseason. He brought up what you're talking about, Shock, how much he operates like a pro now, taking care of his body, diet, conditioning, recovery, all of that. Whatever he could do during COVID quarantine, he had no issues, that pro-like mentality to his film work. You're seeing that show up here today.
He originally committed to Washington, but late switched and went to Missouri. And they are glad to have him here as a nice catch on the sideline by Josh Palmer.
And this was a contested throw, contested catch. Good coverage on the outside by Ishmael Birding, but just look at Palmer. Look at the nice, strong hand. Goes up and snags that football out of the air. That was an impressive catch there.
Garantano, tight spiral near side, overthrows Jalen Hyatt. So it'll be 2nd down and 10.
We've seen the difference in this Tennessee offense just from last week. Last week was more of a dink and dunk style of offense, and they removed the football. But this week they have really put an emphasis on throwing the football vertically and testing these Missouri defensive backs.
Josh Palmer, after a long run, just now gets set on that far side. You see him in one-on-one coverage. I think he's thanking Garantano for taking a while to call this snap after the sprint back. He'll hand it off to Ty Chandler.
Did you see what happened at the top? Did you see what he did? He literally took one step off the line of scrimmage. After you run those deep routes, some of those receivers are a little tired, so he's like, just please call a run play.
Cedric Tillman checks in for Palmer on 3rd down and 2.
You got really soft coverage down there at the bottom for it to be 3rd and 2. Now, they've been really good running the football, but the coverage at the bottom, you see that now they're starting to tighten up. Really soft coverage at the bottom.
And they convert on the power tee, Brandon Johnson, as they convert another 3rd down. Boy, they were 1 of 12 last week. They have really figured that out here in week 2 of SEC play.
Yeah, just a good inside slant. JG puts it on his body, and you convert it. These are the accurate throws that you expect out of Garantano, and he put it there.
5 of 10 on 3rd downs. Eric Gray ran right into the hands of Nick Bolton. And Garantano has been very efficient today. He overthrew some guys last week. Shock, you looked at the tape. I mean, what did you see as a former quarterback?
Well, everything comes down to his base and his feet work. Sometimes his foot was out of line. He wasn't stepping to the right target, and the ball was sail on him, but he's been really accurate and efficient today.
Garantano falls forward to the 40-yard line.
Sometimes when a defense just drops, this is even better than a check down. Taking off on him, showing he has the mobility, and not trying to force the football down the field. Picks up a positive yardage gain for his offense, and now you keep the chains rolling.
Tennessee up to 335 yards of offense in this game with 9 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. And off left side, Eric Gray can't get by the first man. Well done up front. Marcus Uzi, who really kind of slowed that play down.
Yeah, it looks like Devin Nicholson is a little banged up on that play. He was in on the tackle along with Bolden.
Garantano flushed out the pocket. He needed to get to the front edge of that 30-yard line. He will be about a yard shy, so it'll be 3rd and short coming up.
And again, Missouri plays a zone on the back end, so they have almost 7 guys in coverage. Nothing really there. You saw him pump fake about to throw it, but on 2nd and 10, he does a good job of picking up 8-9 yards on that play.
Stoppage in play. We'll stop as well. Back in a moment. Well, Nick Bolton has been a total baller today with 13 tackles. And the bad news is he just got hurt a moment ago as we watch him walk into their tent area to be attended to. And this is what happened. What'd you see, Shock?
It looks like he, maybe just a little stinger in that shoulder. So he goes in with the proper hit, leads with that shoulder, and may just bang that right shoulder up a little bit as he hit JG as he was going to the ground.
Well, certainly Dawn will keep an eye on his progress moving forward. At 3rd and 1, they'll go straight handoff for the first down with Eric Gray. But boy, you lose a guy like Nick Bolton, who is your quarterback, your leader, the heart and soul of that defense. We'll see how Missouri responds without him on the field for the time being.
Yeah, and then we just saw Eric Gray there pick up that first down, and we saw Jerry Pruitt talk to Dawn at halftime, and he said, we got to break some of these arm tackles. Good job of breaking the arm tackle there to pick up the first down.
Nice cutback by Gray. He will get it inside the 25. So now you're a couple of linebackers, Cameron Wilkins and Chad Bailey now for Missouri.
Dave, great call here. He does an excellent job of sticking that left foot in the ground and getting vertical. Because you had number 33, Chad Bailey, right in that hole. He sticks that foot in the ground and picks up an extra 2-3 yards.
2nd and 6. They will spot him at the 1-yard line.
Eric Gray was used much of the first half as a receiver. Now you see the physicality. You see 68 come around and kick him out. Nice block on the outside. And look at the finish by Eric Gray.
Garantano tried to keep it and use that 6'4" frame, and they're going to say Did he get in? And they got in for the touchdown.
Just look at this run here. Another stick his foot in the ground. Made Ishmael Murray look bad on the outside. And then you see JG getting in there for the touchdown on the QB sneak. What an impressive drive. Taking it the length of the field to get 6.
Excellent drive that went 16 plays. How about that? 16 play drive.
Wow.
That started back at their 8-yard line. 6.5 minutes off the clock. They're double checking and triple checking to make sure Garantano got into the end zone.
You don't see many QB sneaks from the 3-yard line, but his offense line is moving people.
Let's see if he got in.
It's hard to see where that ball is.
And again, we say it over and over again. Hopefully you get it now at home, but the ruling on the field was touchdown, so God has to be conclusive to overturn it. So we'll step aside for a moment while they continue to look at this play. Well, the call on the field will stand, meaning there wasn't enough to overturn it. And the touchdown goes to Jarrett Garantano, the old quarterback sneak from the 3-yard line.
That's just how you draw it up. I mean, once you get inside the 5, just give it to the QB.
So we are awaiting the point after touchdown. Tennessee trying to put up their 28th point of the game. Missouri's been held to a couple of field goals. Maglia's point after is up and good. He is now 77 out of 77 in extra points. But the scoring drive, I mean, that's big boy right there. 16 plays, 92 yards.
Yeah, he was efficient. 3 of 5 for 34 yards and ran it 11 times for 58 yards on that drive. So Tennessee's getting it done on the ground. 207 yards here. We're still got midway through the 3rd quarter with Tennessee being able to run the football.
Yeah, Missouri only 78 yards rushing so far. But Garantano, 168 through the air, got a touchdown, no picks. He has told us, again, when we talked to him yesterday afternoon, just how comfortable, how confident he felt last week taking the reins of this offense, mainly because he and Jim Chaney see the game alike. And so he said, man, it was like, I felt like I have not felt since I've been here at Tennessee running this offense, just because I kind of felt like Jim Chaney and I were in the same mindset.
Oh, Dave, I tell you, it's no better feeling than when a coach calls a play, you know exactly where to go with the football and what's going to come next. So that comfort level is huge for a quarterback, and even more for, I know, a guy like Jarrett Garantano, who we mentioned it earlier, hasn't had a coordinator come back since this year.
Well, Tennessee last week had some answer drives. They started the second half. They went 74 yards. Then when the score was tied at 21, they had to answer the bell again. They did so, 65 yards. And then, of course, the big one down the stretch. They had to go 75 yards in 1:13 for the winning score against South Carolina. And then they do it here, their opening drive of the second half. Very successful at 92 yards. Missouri. Roundtree turns the corner, gets a couple of yards.
We talked about the speed for Tennessee on offense at the receiver spot. And you just look around on this defensive side of the ball, the way they fly around. This Tennessee defense looks a lot different than it's looked in the past couple years. And Jeremy Pruitt credits, obviously, recruiting, but obviously it's all about the way these guys have performed week in and week out and expect Tennessee to play at a high level.
Second down at 7. Nico Hay continues in motion to tight end. Now they'll bring Jalen Knox across the formation. Bazelak throws back the other way. Pass is caught out around the 47-yard line to Jalen Knox, the junior out of Jonesboro, Louisiana.
I love this route right here. He makes it look like he's going to run an over route and ends up peeling back across. And watch where this ball let go. As soon as he comes out of that break, where he can fit it in between the corner and the safety, and then it's an accurate ball Nice throw, nice catch, and nice route.
Bazelak, 7 of 11, 126 through the air. Roundtree trying to get behind big 79 Larry Borum. We'll pick up 5.
I like the fact that Coach Drinkwitz not getting away from the run game. There's still plenty of time in this ball game, and he knows he has to put together some first downs, has to move the football, but he can't be in these long yardage situations either.
Just straight power off the right side, only about 1.5 yards maybe. Hit there by Quavaris Crouch.
Yeah, Crouch is a guy who played outside linebacker last year. Now he's playing inside, and they expect a lot out of those inside linebackers in NFL-style defense to communicate. But big third down here for Missouri, possibly could be in 4-down territory.
Keep it on the ground, and they didn't get it. Maybe 1/2 yard. Well, they're trying to run it between those tackles, and there's just not a whole lot of room right there.
Yeah, you got big Arthur Solomon in there who's 315, and there's not a lot of movement there. Good job of holding his ground right there with Latrell Bumpus, who ends up being on the tackle. A lot of movement here.
They're going to go for it. Down 28-6, 4th down and 1. Here in plus territory. Pistol formation. Bazelak spins, throws, and passes caught for the first down and more. Logan Christopherson. Christopherson will pick up the first down. The junior tight end out of Lamont, Illinois.
How about the call on 4th down, Dave, to throw the football? Look where his football is, high and away over the defender, giving his 6'6", 255 tight end a chance to go up and get the football. What a conversion there from Missouri.
So it'll be 2nd down and goal from the 5 after the Roundtree carry. Picks up a couple. First catch for Christopherson, by the way. Kind of snuck him on the field, didn't it?
Yeah, I love the call, though. I mean, he got a step behind the Tennessee defense, and a good job of laying it out there was Connor, and big conversion there.
Bazelak will keep it down to the 3, so now 3rd and goal.
Mizzou offense has drastically changed since Connor came in the ball game early in the first half. He's made some really impressive throws. Big 3rd down here, though.
The jumbo set with 3 tight ends in the game for Eli Drinkwitz. We'll go Wildcat, snap it right to Roundtree, and he is hit shy of the goal line by Henry To'oTo'o.
Of course it's Henry To'oTo'o right there. Meets it right at the goal line. They got the extra beef on the right side. He slashes through there and gets enough of Roundtree right on that foot. Oh, man, what a nice open field play there to not let Roundtree in the end zone.
Boy, you know Roundtree was smelling that goal line, too.
Ooh.
The sophomore out of Sacramento, California, had 6 tackles last week. He's up for a couple of linebacker awards. Butkus also on the Nagurski watch list. Had that pick 6 last week, a freshman All-American. As they attend to Simmons down on the field. Back in a moment. Marty Smith and Ryan McGee, 2 awesome dudes having an awesome time, are back to have some more fun and talk everything SEC. It's Wednesdays, 7 o'clock Eastern, right here on the SEC Network, and as always, on the ESPN app. So it'll be 4th and goal. Simmons walked off, albeit limping. And here we go. Toss sweep. Roundtree, touchdown, Missouri.
Love the quick hitter. Love the play call there by Drinkwitz to get him in the end zone as they look like they're going to go for 2. But love the play call, quick hitter, get your big physical back on the edge. You got 2 blockers in front of them. All you need is a yard. Nice play call.
So going for the 2-point conversion. Bannister goes in motion. Bazelak comes near side. Looking, throwing, and it is incomplete. 28-12 our score. 2:06 in the third. Let's get an update and go to the studio. Peter?
Time for the State Farm surprisingly great performance of the day. And, well, we know that Kyle Pitts has been great for the Florida Gators, but now they go local. Gainesville native Trent Whittemore with his first career receiving touchdown down in Gainesville. 31-14 Gators. 6 minutes left in the third.
Tell you what, that showdown between Florida and Georgia later on is going to be something. I mean, that game is determined basically the last 5 SEC East champs, and this year perhaps no different.
Yeah, no doubt about it. The way Florida offensively is playing, and Georgia, you look at them, they had a really good defense. That's going to be a battle of good on good in that ball game, so that would be an exciting matchup.
Of course, Tennessee will have something to say about this SEC East race. The way the Volunteers have started. Matter of fact, they have a nice little 5-game SEC conference winning streak going inside of this 7-game overall win streak. Hard to believe this team, Tennessee, was 1-4 out of the gates last year.
Yeah, and interesting enough, in those 7 wins, now this Tennessee team has won 4 of them, 4 points or less, so they finish games.
Little pooch kick, and Tennessee will recover it. But you make the comparison. I mean, they really improved everywhere down the stretch last year, offensively and defensively. It wasn't just one aspect of this team. I mean, it seems like just something clicked with them, and the carryover has started here in 2020.
Well, I think it comes from all 3 phases, believing that they can win first off, but also changing that culture, changing the mindset. And Jeremy Pruitt has done that for this Tennessee program, and these guys believe they should be atop the SEC East.
So out of this pistol formation, Garantano, who's had a nice afternoon, 13 of 22, 168. Will hand it off, get it to Ty Chandler. Chandler's been a workhorse today. 17 carries now. Eric Gray's got 11 carries for 89 yards. Ty Chandler, 17 carries, 77 yards.
I love the 1-2 punch. They are very versatile in what they can do, especially in the run game and the pass game. They get some of these receivers to come along. We know Palmer is a really good receiver, but they're pretty loaded on offense.
Again, Chandler with the carry. Well, look, Jim Chaney wanted to establish the run game. He has not shied away from it today.
And I think that's what you want from this offensive line, to see where you're at. We mentioned earlier getting Cade Mays back. That was a big deal for him. Talked about how he's going to bring the play of everybody up. But this is a coach who's been around 35 years in coaching and understands the value of running the football in the SEC.
Looks like some movement up front. Let's go down to Dawn.
False start, offense, number 68, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Dave, I know a ton of the talk, guys, is going to be on Cade Mays' first start today, but can we also talk about Wanya Morris at left tackle? Because he had to spend two-week stints in quarantine for contact tracing, missed a ton of time. I've watched him. He's been really good today for them.
It's, again, I'll go back. It's amazing how clean these teams have played when you consider how few practices they were able to have with healthy bodies. Both of them just decimated with coronavirus issues throughout their preseason workouts. Garantano. It's good to see 32 and White back out there on the field. Nick Bolton. Yeah, how about my man here trying to give me a little DJ Shockley hurdle right here? Come on.
Find a way, man. That's all you got to do, man. He's a mobile guy. My man JG trying to hurdle a guy right there. I mean, I love to see the athleticism from the position.
You just never got to see me play.
That's what it is. Yeah.
I changed the game.
10-yard penalty.
Dang.
Repeat the down.
See, right now,
It makes sense,
Garantano's
man.
again. Right, I hurdle. I got a nice little replay, and it doesn't
Nah,
count.
it don't even matter. It don't count. Yeah. Won't even be in the box score. Won't even
Right.
see it. But guess what? He's like, it's on tape. People have seen it. They know
Right.
what it's about now. They know I can do it.
3rd down and 16. Ty Chandler in the backfield. 3 receivers to the wide side of the field. Garantano looked that way, and now he's looking at the green grass as he is dropped for a big loss. Kobe Whiteside got there.
And Missouri Conklin will call it ET stunt, the end and tackle. They switch responsibilities and they keep JG trapped inside the pocket, and finally getting home there in Missouri and getting a sack on 3rd and 16.
Isaiah McGuire will get credit for that sack. Hey, and welcome back to SEC Network Football, presented by Allstate, where Tennessee, the 21st ranked team in the country, leading it by 16 as we start the 4th quarter. I'm Dave Neal alongside former SEC championship quarterback DJ Shockley. Dawn Davenport down on the sidelines. And Tennessee about to punt it away after the McGuire sack of Jared Garantano just a moment ago to end the 3rd quarter. So Paxton Brooks. Good clean snap. Chris Abrams-Drain, the true freshman on that return to the 35-yard line. So Missouri still in this. Obviously 2 scores, couple of 2-point conversions, plenty of time left. Just had a nice drive, converted on a 4th and goal, and they've gone with Bazelak at quarterback really since early 2nd quarter, when Sean Robinson couldn't move the team.
He's been efficient too. I mean, you talk about going with Connor. He's 8 of 12 for 163. I mean, he's made good decisions with the football. Nothing has been up for grabs. I mean, they're trusting him to throw it on 4th down and now to open up the run game. I mean, they can get something going here. They can make it really interesting here in this 4th quarter.
Daniel Parker, the tight end in motion, sets up on the right side of the line of scrimmage. Bazelak slides that way and then slides to the ground. And he'll pick up a yard.
But the best thing about what he's doing, he's going forward. He's not going backwards inside the pocket. When you go backwards, that's when you have your biggest issues for a quarterback. But he's climbing the pocket, and even if he's getting 1 or 2 yards or back to the line of scrimmage, that is a positive play for Connor Bazelak.
Bunch set of receivers near side. They'll split Roundtree that way. They'll look the other way, and they hit their target. Pass is caught across midfield. Goes Hazelton, his 2nd catch today.
Tennessee tries to come with a blitz, a little delayed blitz, but Bazelak knows where he wants to go with the football. Hits his big 6'3", 215-pound receiver Hazelton on the outside on a quick slant. Nice job of standing there and delivering the football, taking a hit. And once you see it complete, Dave, sometimes those hits don't even matter.
Bazelak will drop it off underneath. Tyler Beatty gets hit a yard shy by Henry To'oTo'o. See where they end up spotting that. He got close to the line of game, but he should be shy by about a yard.
We're watching the quarterback grow up in front of our eyes right here. You get a little extracurriculars by Henry To'oTo'o on the sideline. But this was an intended shot play. As soon as you got past the 50-yard line, they wanted to throw it deep. But he had the wherewithal to just check it down, and now you pick up 7-8 yards, and you got a good chance to pick up another 1st down.
The play fake, Bazelak over the middle, high throw. It was there, just threw it a little too high as he was trying to hit Kiki Chisholm.
Yeah, Kiki had to use all 6'4" of that frame to try to bring that football in, and watch Bazelak standing here. He's poised, he's going through his progressions, under control, wait for that just to come open. And that's a ball you got to catch right there. It's on the hands, a little bit high, but that's a ball he's got to come down with.
3rd down and 1. Obviously, an important play here. And a timeout on the field. We'll take it with them. Boy, they are putting it on South Carolina right now. Looking good doing it. Here, Missouri trying to keep this drive alive. They're at the 38.5. 3rd down and 1 coming up. They will hand it off to Roundtree as the 1st down. A whole lot more.
I think there was the decision made right there by Roundtree that I'm picking up this 1st down. The way he hit that, watch how he hits this with a full head of steam downhill, makes one guy miss. Roundtree is understanding they need him at the end of this ball game, and he is running hard. And give a lot of credit to the offensive line as well. They collapse that left side down to create that hole on the right side for him to run.
Good tackle by Flowers in the back end to stop him there. That could have gone for more. A couple of tight ends in the game for Missouri now. Single setback is Roundtree. Bazelak throws back, and that one is intercepted. Theo Jackson across midfield.
Theo Jackson just read the eyes of Bazelak. We see him make his first mistake of the ball game. They're playing zone coverage, so he never takes his eyes off the quarterback and falls right back into the route as they try to throw it back to their tight end on the backside, Daniel Parker. It's a nice job of reading the eyes and being in the spot where he's supposed to be.
Theo Jackson, the senior out of Nashville, had an interception last year and adds one here in 2020 and snuffs out this Missouri drive. The first interception in Bazelak's collegiate career. Tennessee has rushed the football today 40 times, but they will throw it here. Back shoulder throw, pass is caught. Well done on both ends as Velus Jones, the grad transfer from Southern Cal, making a catch.
Missouri thinking they're going to run the football play man coverage, but look at the ball placement, Dave. You talked about it, back shoulder throw. The defensive back was on top of him. No reason to lead him down the field. Back shoulder, defensive back could not even see the ball. Nice ball, nice catch by Tennessee.
5 catches last week, 1 this week. Nowhere for Eric Gray to run as he is stopped in his tracks. Another tackle for big Nick Bolton.
Love the aggressive play call by Jim Chaney coming out after a turnover. Around midfield, you give yourself a shot play and you convert on it. Now you're already into Missouri territory. Expect a heavy dose of the run game here as they get closer to the end zone.
Bolt with a matching career high 15 tackles this afternoon. He had 15 against Vanderbilt last year. Left side, there goes Gray, and Nick Bolton stopped a potential touchdown with that tackle. That's number 16 and a new career high. Playing with a bad shoulder too, got dinged up earlier this half.
Yeah, you're just watching what's happening up front. This is a line of scrimmage ball game. This is a line of scrimmage type of league. And right now, Tennessee owns the line of scrimmage up front when it comes to the run game.
I could watch Nick Bolton play linebacker every day.
Yeah, dude, he has a great instinct and great nose for the football and doesn't miss many tackles.
Lined up in the middle of the field. Right behind his nose tackle, Kobe Whiteside. He's looking to put a hit on Eric Gray. He and Bledsoe combined for that tackle. Gain of a yard.
Missouri's got to be on the heads up now. Tennessee's ran the ball 2 times now. And Tennessee loves a little play action off that zone action to get Garantano on the move or possibly just try to find something play action-wise to get those linebackers sucked up because they are flying up right now.
.411 yards of offense. This is a defense that held Alabama to 95 yards in the second half last week, this Missouri defense. Garantano near side end zone, and there's the flag. Trying to pick on the true freshman Rakestraw. Got tangled up with Palmer.
You get one-on-one with your best receiver versus a true freshman. They're going to take that shot every single time, and you see right before he's about to jump, he gets his hands inside
Pass
on Palmer
interference.
and tries to
Defense
jump.
number 2. The foul occurred in the end zone. By rule, the ball will be placed at the 2-yard line with an automatic first down.
I mean, Rakestraw, they're going to find you right as a true freshman. They will find you. But this guy came out with some, I mean, think of the schools that offered him scholarships: Alabama, Texas, Georgia, Missouri. I mean, a lot of people wanted him. But you just got to learn by trial by fire now, huh?
Yeah, and that's the tough part about it for Missouri is he's going to play a lot, but he's also going to learn a lot playing in the SEC week in and week out.
Whistles will stop this play before it gets going. Eli Drinkwitz coming out to talk to our referee. Steve Marlowe responds. Steve saying, let's get back over the ball and let's play some football. That's what I would be saying.
Sure, Tennessee is saying the same thing. They want to punch this one in and try to put this guy away.
This could just about do it here with 9:45 on the clock here in the fourth quarter. High formation. Eric Gray on first and goal. Stuffed. Get back to the line of scrimmage. Chad Bailey there along with Wilkins.
Talking about positives, man. Positives in this ball game. Missouri continue to fight, not just conceding it because you got a pass interference and they're right there real close to the goal line. They're continuing to fight. They're trying to keep them out of the end zone, give themselves an opportunity here to save some of this ball game.
Another handoff. This one will go to Eric Gray, and he'll get close to the line, the goal line, but Nick Bolton able to get his nose in there and disrupt that.
Yeah, both sides firing off the football real well. You see Missouri actually held their own on that particular play, getting some penetration. Love the extra effort by your back, but Missouri still fighting strong, trying to keep them out the end zone.
So 3rd and goal from the 1. You're in 2 straight power out of the I formation. Now you go jumbo backfield and just go with the 6'4" Garantano again. And did he get in? They're going to say he didn't. It's going to be 4th and goal.
What a goal line stand you have right here for Missouri. Of course, Nick Bolton's in the middle of it. I mean, who else would be in the middle of it? You have one more in to Missouri.
Let's see what they do here. 4th and goal from the, I don't know, inch line.
Don't be surprised if they try to pop pass out here with everybody in here thinking it's run.
They'll just go straight quarterback keeper with Garantano. Heck, he made it from the 3-yard line. A few possessions ago, he can make it from the 3-inch line.
Yeah, this was all about just man on man, who is the tougher, who is more physical up front. And all you needed was a half-inch, and he barely gets it in there, but nonetheless, he scores the touchdown. But Missouri, fighting hard, trying to keep him out the end zone there.
Well, there's about 25,000 fans inside Neyland Stadium, which has to be a kind of a unique look for that massive structure on the banks of the Tennessee River, and the 25,000 on hand have seen their.
SEC Network Football is presented by Allstate. You've never been in better hands.
Well, Tennessee has given their all today. Even the band spaced out, socially distanced, entertaining the folks here at Neyland Stadium as Tennessee is up 35-12. Well, I tell you what, how often do you get to be coached by a Heisman Trophy winner? Not often, but that's what Jarrett Garantano gets the luxury of having, and his quarterback coach, who is a Florida State guy, I might add, Chris Winkie.
You like the nose at all, Dave? Just barely?
Right now, that's a tough question to answer right now.
No doubt, though, having Chris Winkie as your QB coach, having a trophy guy, I mean, that's pretty cool, pretty special. T. Martin as well on that staff. So
through the end zone. We'll step aside. Let's take a look at today's Capital One rewarding performance. And for that, Ty Chandler and Eric Gray have both found the end zone today. They've been impressive in the backfield.
yeah, they've done it all. And you're talking about a two-headed monster coming to this ball game. And Eric Gray right now is averaging over 6 yards a carry. He's had a big day today. A lot of credit to that offensive line who have done a great job as well.
Total 3 touchdowns between them, 105 yards on the ground for Gray, 83 for Chandler. Just a solid day for those two guys in the backfield. And throw in Garantano's 2 touchdowns as well, and you can add it up yourself. 35-12 our score, 7:44 to go in the game. Bazelak. Nice little pass. That was a nifty throw from Bazelak. We've seen a few of those today where he has really planted his foot, just let it fly with a tight spiral.
Yeah, this is what we call just missing a jam by Alontae Taylor. He just fits it in there, takes the air out of it, and fits it in what we call the honey hole between the corner and the safety.
Now Roundtree driving the pile out near midfield. You wonder what this would have looked like if Bazelak might have gotten. You never know, right? I mean, obviously Sean Robinson was their guy, but we can always sit here and second guess everything we want. That's what we do.
Right.
But I mean, this offense has moved at times, pretty well under Bazelak.
Yeah, and the best thing about it is he's thrown the ball really well. And besides the one interception, he's made great decisions. And I think his receivers believe that he's going to get the football to him.
They'll chuck it and run, and he'll hit the deck around the 48-yard line. But that'll be the question now, I guess, moving forward for Eli Drinkwitz is what do you do with that quarterback position, like a few teams in this league.
And you look at what Sean Robinson was able to do. He played early. He was only 1 for 4 in the game, and the offense just didn't have any consistency with him. No continuity with him in the ball game. And right now they have done really well with Connor in the ball game. I expect Connor to probably be the guy going forward. Sean Robinson brings you that dual threat ability, being able to move, but Connor was able to throw the football around today, which helped.
Four-man rush. Pass a little bit behind Hazleton, but breaks a tackle and scoots forward for an extra 5 yards.
Extra effort plays. Hazleton right here catches the slant. Yeah, fights off one guy. And look at him continue to fight for more yards. Usually you see something bad happen here, but you love the fact that he's trying to get more for his QB in his offense. But I love the extra effort out of Hazleton there.
Trying to shake off that last hit. First down and 10. Missouri late getting the player on. They'll hold it up. Well, this is going to be tough. They got the snap off with 1 second on the play clock. And they'll go with Tyler Beatty at running back. Eli Drinkwitz was talking to us about the COVID-19 era of college football, and a lot of people don't understand. Like last week, Friday night before Alabama, your opener, one of his coaches tests positive for COVID-19, and he says, I spent the next 8 or 10 hours on a Friday afternoon doing all this contact tracing stuff to figure out who this coach was around and had they been tested. And he says, you know, those are the things that you just don't see, and it takes away from your game prep, but it's all part of how we do things now.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It's a big, big deal now. I mean, you have to worry about the health and safety of not just the person who possibly comes in contact with it, but also the people that are around it. And we went through that for a long time when that could take away from prep, watching more film, trying to get his team prepared. But it's just the reality of today and the things these guys got to go through.
Let's go down to Dawn for more.
Guys, yeah, you're talking about Coach Drinkwitz. He's been pretty transparent when it comes to the effect that COVID has had on his programs. And he told us he thinks the information is important because it affects people's lives. We're in the middle of a global pandemic. So he hasn't shied away from telling the media, anybody, what they're dealing with when it comes to COVID. He pointed that a sprained ankle or tweaked hamstring might not necessarily affect another person. A COVID diagnosis could. So he's pretty transparent about what they're dealing with.
Bazelak is brought down. You know, and that's a great point. And I think he brought it up this week talking to members of the media about, hey, and us, I might add, that he would like to see some uniformity about that and COVID-19 and the dissemination of information, because it doesn't seem like there's any, I guess, real baseline on how that information is given.
Timeout.
It's all based
Tennessee,
on each
the
school.
second of the half.
So it's something to think about moving forward, and certainly I'm sure he's not finished talking about it either. This team right now down 35-12.
About an hour away till it looks like Kentucky Derby meets college football. Lane Kiffin, I hope he coaches in that. Ole Miss on the road in Lexington today. Both teams trying to get their first dub of the season. We'll have you that for you right after this.
Looks like Lane and Peter have been talking about fashion. See what Lane was wearing on the team plane as they traveled up to Lexington. Took that suit right out of Peter's closet.
Make a statement.
Bazelak underneath. Hey, coming up at 4, it is that Kentucky Ole Miss game. And then at 7:30 tonight in our SEC Saturday night matchup, I think a lot of eyes on LSU. How will they respond after giving up an SEC record 620-plus yards through the air? They'll take on Vanderbilt. And for those of you wanting to see if Mississippi State's offense can keep it going, they'll take on Arkansas on the SEC Network alternate channel at 7:30 as well. So a lot of good football coming your way right here on the network, and you can see all that on the app. Dump it off to Roundtree, and he's to the 28-yard line as we close in on 3 minutes. So, Shock, as we kind of put a wrap on this, put a little bow, if you will, on this one, give me a takeaway from each school. Let's start with Missouri. What is your big takeaway from watching the Tigers?
Well, I think the biggest thing is they found a quarterback. Connor, I believe, gives them a chance to win the ball game, gives them the best of both worlds with Roundtree running the football and him throwing the ball from the outside. Look, you got a little false start here at the bottom from Bobby Lawrence, number 64.
False start. Offense, number 64. 5-yard penalty. Remains 4th down.
And I think Tennessee is put on an efficient affair here today. Throwing the football, running the football. This offensive line looks like it's already in midseason form. I think Coach Pruitt will be happy with the outcome. Of course, as he talked with Don, you know, at halftime, he seemed like he wasn't happy. As coaches, there's always things that they can get better during the ball game. But I think Tennessee is ready for the big-time matchup next week as they play Georgia.
Third and final timeout.
Well, certainly there's balance for Tennessee's offense. You know, 190 yards through the air, 223 on the ground. They've gotten really good balance in that rush game between Gray and Chandler, 105 and 83 yards respectively. But, you know, obviously this is a 10-game SEC schedule, and you better bring it every single Saturday. And this is what their October looks like. They get Georgia, Kentucky, and Alabama. I mean, have fun.
If you want to know, what your football team looks like in the next 3 weeks, you will for sure find out how you measure up to some of the top teams in the country. So, we asked Jared about that when we talked to him about playing a 10 conference game schedule. He said he was excited about it, but he knew every single week, for one, he was going to be sore because it is dragged down, knockout in this conference. But he looked forward to the competition week in and week out every week.
Bazelak rolling right, trying to buy a little time, throws back over the middle, and that one should have been picked off. And this is what Missouri has next week. I mean, think about this. You're at Tennessee, and then guess what? You get to go to Baton Rouge, you host Vanderbilt, and then you get to go to Florida.
Well, just a day in the life of these SEC opponents here. Every week, I mean, you're so used to having one week where you may get it off where, you're playing a lesser opponent so you can get ready for a big-time conference opponent. But every week, you got to turn the page. And this week, Missouri have to change the page as they'll have to get ready for LSU.
I love this 10-game schedule. I wish we played 10 conference games every week. I know Nick Saban said he'd be in favor of it.
And if you're a fan watching at home, I mean, every week you turn it on, it's going to be a quality opponent, and it's going to be a pretty good ball game. And the difference in margin of wins and losses in this league is very, very small, very minimal, and a lot of talent. So week in and week out, I love the fact that you're getting this every single week.
Under 2 minutes to go. Tennessee's going to push their record to 2-0 and extend this win streak to 8. It'll be 6 straight conference victories. As we just talked about, it'll get even more real next week. Jabari Small, who's had a couple of nice runs in this game, the true freshman.
I'm sure they'll be locked in tonight as Georgia takes on Auburn in a big game. South Soldiers rivalry there, and that's a huge ball game as well in the SEC. So I'm sure everybody from Vol Nation will be locked in on that and seeing what happens in that ball game with Georgia as they have them come to town next week.
Who will be quarterback next week when Georgia takes on Tennessee? We know Jarrett Garantano will be leading the show for Tennessee, but questions abound in Athens concerning their quarterback situation. We saw Georgia last week. Stetson Bennett the fourth looked sharp. I mean, there's no other way to put it. But is he the guy?
He came out and pretty much saved that Georgia offense, to be sure. DeJuan Mathis had a short sample size. Will they go back to him? Do they want to risk his confidence? And then you got JT Daniels as the wild card in that situation. Is he the guy?
Well, that will do it for this one. Missouri fought hard, but just not enough in the tank to take down the 21st ranked Tennessee Volunteers. Jarrett Garantano, 14 of 23, 190 yards and a touchdown. Chandler had 90 yards on the ground. Gray had 105 yards on the ground. 424 yards of offense. Missouri with 344, but Tennessee will go to 2-0. Missouri will fall to 0-2. And the streak is alive. It is now 8 for the Tennessee Volunteers and Jeremy Pruitt. Next week, it's the Georgia Bulldogs. The final score, 35-12. That's it from Knoxville. Let's get you to the studio.